Здравствуйте, welcome back to Rek Plays Kerbal Space Program. Sorry for the break there. I wanted to make sure that all our volume settings were correct for this next part, because we're going to have some rocket noise going with the loud engines and everything. And I wanted to correct, which I found out from listening to the recording, that the microphone volume was a bit low, so it should be alright now for you guys to hear me okay. So let's get going without further ado. Get this out to the launch pad. Clear the debris, of course, which was just my rocket test to test microphone volume against the rocket noise. So we're gonna have a beautiful nighttime launch. I always love launching at night because we get a lot of cool lighting effects going on. I want to see here. Let's just look. Where are we in relation? Okay, so it's on the far side of the planet. Good. When it comes to docking, there's two really methods that you can do. The easiest way, in my opinion, is to get into a nice circular orbit just below the altitude of whatever it is you wish to dock with. And the reason for this seems to burn less fuel. But you can also, let's say if I were outside this ring here and I wanted to dock, I can still do that. I just have to reverse my burn and slow down. In that situation, you want to be in front of it because it's coming at you, and you want to slow down to your at equal speed with it, and then just slide right in. And this will make more sense as we go forward. So, SAS is on. We're going to turn the thrust up to just a little bit below the 3/4 mark. Actually above the 3/4 mark. These are mainsail engines. Everything in here is unmodded. This is straight Kerbal Space Program. These mainsail engines heat up and will explode. They're about the only engines in the game that will explode due to heat. So we have to make sure that we keep it within acceptable means. I've got the two booster rockets here to help get it off that first initial launch. Uh-oh. We're going to have to reset that launch. That can happen. If you sit too long on a launch pad, you get some physics issues with these engines because they are heavy. So something there broke loose. We'll have to reset the launch. Welcome to Kerbal Space Program, everyone. So we're going to restart the flight. It's perfectly safe once you get off the launch pad. That just has to do with it being held and a lot of weight on a single point. I'm glad there wasn't a catastrophic failure there, because we could have lost Gilsey over here. So I'm going to hit space. Smell the rocket fuel burning. Beautiful. A lot of thrust going on. But it is extremely heavy because this is a fueling craft, so there's a lot of fuel being pushed into space. Now ideally what I like to do is not really pay so much attention to the altitude. When I want to go horizontal, I will pay attention to the speed here, and I'll wait till it gets to 500, because at 500 I'm going to absolutely get out of the atmosphere, so I can almost just crank it all the way over and start making my drop those. I can make my orbit at that point. So again, you see the heat here is pretty high, even at this stage. I could actually probably burn it just a little bit more, but it seems like if I get to 90 or 100, it will absolutely blow up every time. So you can see the enormous amount of fuel we're expending just to get this one tank up into space. Do I have lights on? Yeah, we can turn the lights on. So you can see once we hit about 10,000, we start really speeding up. That's what we want to see. That's why we use the boosters to help us get there faster. So we're almost ready to begin our orbital burn. First orbital burn. So we'll turn the SAS on. We'll flip her over on the 90-degree mark. Keep her as straight as we can, the 90-degree mark. And I'm going to leave her right about there. That'll be good. And this is technically still our launch burn, but because we have so much extra fuel and a lot of power here, I already have enough to get into orbit, so I'm going to start beginning our orbital burn so that this engine has an easier time making that circular orbit. And you want about 2,200 meters per second to really get this thing into full orbital, and we'll come back down. Turn on the RCS here, go to docking mode. I'm going to propel it forward just a bit. There we go. Also get our spin out. When you disconnect with that much power going, you can see get a lot of spin there. So let's take a look. So you can see here that we are ascending up to 166 meters, or 1,000 meters. So we almost were at enough to get into our orbit, but we're going to lose it going up because we're going to lose velocity. It'll probably be about 1,400 when we get here, but that's still a lot better than we would have been if I had just gone straight up and then used that tank for the orbital burn. So it has a lot less to make up on it. We'll go back to staging. I'm going to crank, turn SAS, I'm going to crank her on around, back to the 90. And you'll notice that yellow there is the optimal burn point, but I'm not interested in that because that's going to keep me going upwards. I'm actually going to crank this down a little bit because we're fairly high up on this apoapsis. So I am going to point it down a reasonable amount to keep that ascent minimal when we start our next burn. Beautiful orbit of Kerbal going on. You can see our dead stage there. That's going to slowly crash back down into the ocean. Just off the coast, looks like. Which will be good. Easy cleanup. So we're waiting to get up to right about 166,000. We'll begin our next burn, get that circular orbit. Then we're going to wait, we're going to do a speed jump, wait till we catch up to right about there, and then we'll begin our transfer to dock. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Oh, it says we're throttle up. Oh, because I got the RCS on. Turn the SAS on. That's unusual. No B. I guess because it still hasn't leveled down in speed, but that's going to change anyway, so I don't understand. No B. Just means you guys got to sit around longer. So a lot of this game is steeped in patience and trial and error. You can have a successful design you've used 1,000 times and all of a sudden it'll just start blowing up on you consistently, so just something to be aware of when you get into this. See, especially when they launch a new patch. Launch a new patch, I'll almost, like a major patch, I'll just start a new game, because a lot of the physics just change a lot and stuff don't work. You'll just see stuff blowing up on Munar or whatever that you've had landed forever. They seem to get better at that though as patches come out and I really hope they take it seriously this time, because with docking you can see we have a huge amount of missions ongoing right now. That'd be a shame to lose. Okay, so I'm gonna crank this down again, and I'm going to start the engine, turn RCS off so we're not wasting it. Burn, burn, burn. So you can see we're still going up here, but it's a lot slower than it would be. Yeah, we're probably going to have to reduce that by the time we get this leveled out. Yep, that's no problem. So I want to get this up to about 100. Perfect. You can see we're way out there, so I'm going to swing it around, and when we get to the periapsis, I'm going to reverse burn, slow the ship down, and reduce that to about the same. And fuel's not going to be a big concern on this one, since we really only have a quarter of a tank to fill up, but we really want to try to be as efficient as we can with our fuel, because you can see we've already used a good bit on that burn alone. So now I can speed it up. Good. Use that time warp. And slow down. Good. RCS. Careful, careful. Lock it in. Do slow throttle on this one because we don't need much power. Just gingerly bringing it back down. And we're not looking for a perfect circular orbit on this one because this thing's not staying up here. But we do want it lower. That's good. 130 is good. Alright. So, we're going to catch up to the fuel depot 2. So we're going to do a time warp. Since we are at a lower orbit, we are going faster around Kerbal, and we'll catch up to it eventually. A little faster time warp. Like a lovely ballet going on. Fortunately here is lower than that next level time warp will allow, so we have to be patient until it goes back up. Really, you can do this any time, but the closer you are up to a point, at one point it becomes too late to really make that transfer. But the closer you are, the less fuel you're going to burn trying to get that transfer dock going. Actually, at this point, I'm going to hit F5 for quick save. Something used quite a bit when it involves docking, because you never know what's going to happen when you get up there. Even though this is going to be a very, very simple dock. I might hit time warp on accident, eject the stage, you never know. It's always good to quick save. And you just hold F9 down to reload it. So we're almost there. Very, very close now. So that's pretty good. So we'll slow it down and we'll bust out the computer here. Let's see, 330 sounds good. We'll hit add maneuver. Now first time you see this, oh, hold on, I'm skipping a step. Kill that. We need to click, not zoo station. We need to click here and set that as our target. See the green line matches up. Here's my 341, that's good. Now, basically you have three controls, positive and negative here. This one here is how much extra velocity you want to put in, or minus velocity, which is going to extend out or retract your orbit. These controls, I'll tell you what. The purple one is your angle. So that'll adjust your angle. This is how you, let's say minimus here. Scroll out. You can see minimus is in a different orbit. It's not a straight 90-degree orbit. So we have to adjust accordingly if we were to go there. Since this is all in the 90, it's easy enough. This blue one here is a little tricky. I don't really understand much. I think it's the delay, maybe, possibly. But I do use it. I'll show you what we need to do, though. So I'm going to go ahead and extend out our orbit a little more. Alright, so you can ignore everything else. You want these two orange ones to match up. So we're going to use that. A little more thrusts. And okay, see 1.7, that's good. There is a problem here because we would crash in the planet. So what that means is I actually should probably get closer to do the burn I am looking at here. So this isn't good. Also, that 727 is a lot of wasted fuel. So I'm going to reset this. Try again. There we go. Extend that. Oh, I went the wrong way. So you see how exponentially it goes up. I don't know the problem. So this isn't a really good burn. I'm a little close here. Or a little far. So we're going to speed up again. Get a whole lot closer before we do this burn. And actually, it may be easier, based on my experience, if you're on a higher orbit to make this dock, but you will probably use more fuel, which is why I try to be at a lower orbit, where I'm going faster to catch up. Okay, now you see that we're closer here. Automatically, when I made this change, I pretty well had it in the bag already. So I can just nudge it up. Make a subtle change here. Almost. 6.5, we can do better. 0.4, let's try to adjust this a little bit. 3, not really. Alright, 6.4 is not bad. You can see now, I only am required to burn an additional 151 meters per second velocity, which is good. That is very low burn for this engine. A lot less fuel use. So you see this note in T-minus 2 minutes 25 seconds. So when that counts down to nothing, that's when we ideally want to make this burn. So I'm going to turn the RCS on, flip this around. And this is what we're looking for here. This blue icon here. This is your node burn. So that node in the computer I just set up for that maneuver, this is where it wants me to burn on for 151 meters of extra velocity. So lock that in, a little more over. Perfect. I'm going to speed up the time a little bit, get closer. And burn. Quickly, 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 and off. Okay. You don't need this to be 0, by the way. The closer you can get it, the more accurate it'll be. But you just need to get in the ballpark at this point. And it's always good practice to leak those nodes afterwards. That can mess you up down the road, just thinking what you're supposed to be doing. So, this is where we're calculated to meet up with it. So I'm going to speed up time. Okay, now you see this target here? There's our speed relative to the target. So we're going 236 meters faster than that at this point, but it is becoming more on par the closer we get. And we want to get as close as we can before we accelerate without overshooting. So I'm going to get on this negative burn again. And we can do a time skip just briefly. Catch up, catch up. See, we're 19,000 meters out now. Closer, closer, closer. $8,000. And about 7, I think it would be good to... Oh. Yeah, 7 would be a good spot to start slowing down. And we can take our time on that. And that's pretty close to 0 for this engine. Okay. So now I want to point it at our station. I've actually been pretty loose with my fuel on this one. Normally I have more fuel when I'm doing this. But like I said, it doesn't matter on this run. So line up there on the purple. That means you're pointing at your target. It's 6.4 kilometers away, so we're a little far. So we're going to do another burn, speed up again. We'll say 50 is good. Or so. Flip her back. Sorry. A little dust. Flip her back around for reverse burn. To bleed off that extra speed when we need to. You can see now we're closing again. We'll do a speed it up. Time warp. Oh, nope. See, this is what I was talking about, auto-saving. Time warp made me overshoot there because there's a little bit of delay between when I had control. But we are pretty close, so at this point I'm going to save again. We won't use the main engine again at this point. I'm going to flip it around until I'm pointing at her. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Silly me. You can't actually see it in the distance now rendered. Lock onto that target. We're going to go into docking mode now. And we're going to press W for forward. Get her up to about 3 meters per second. That would be good. I'll do 4. We can do 4. So we're closing again with it. Speed up. And we're going to get pretty close. Slow back down. Now we've got a pretty good view at this point. Actually, I want to kill my speed out completely, so I'm going to point at this negative. Tap space again. W forward, and we're bleeding our speed off now. And it's almost 0. There we go. So I'm going to try here. I'm going to scroll out, get in close to here, and this looks like a good docking port. If I can. I must still be too far out. So, point again, RCS. Oh, nope, 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 nope. We don't want to do that. Wrong control. So, speed up. Close in with it. It's pretty good there. Usually you want to be about 100 meters to be able to target, but I thought maybe I could do it by scrolling out. And actually, on this particular one, it's got a forward docking node, which I switched out for the comm array. So I should be able to just nudge it right in there. So I'm going to slow down now. Getting very close. We don't need to be a dead stop. Scroll. And we're going to set this clampatron as our target. The next thing we're going to do is select ours and select control from here. Let me do that again just to make sure, because I'm not sure I got it. Okay. Now, we're going to point, messing it all up. I'm going to point it here. I'm also going to quick save because it's coming at a weird angle. Now, very weird angle. There we go. Back it off a little bit. Okay. So this here, we want to try and center up to get us on a straight path towards it. Tap here. We also want to target that center dot. We'll close a little faster. This will be a weird dock, but it should work. You can see we are closing for final approach. me slow down, I'm going way too fast. And final adjustments. Oh, no. Slow it down. And one thing you see this RDT mode. That's what you have to be in that mode for the magnetic dock to latch. So we're on track. We should see it in a minute. And you'll know it as soon as you see it. So you see there, yep, see how it jumped? It means it's got a lock, and it's just going to bump around a little bit until it gets locked in. Come on. Come on. So I was talking about that weird angle. Just trying to get it straightened. Got it. So we are successfully docked, ladies and gentlemen. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to click that tank there. Alt right click here. And we are going to transfer out, and we're just going to fill it all the way up. Good. We're going to transfer. Do we need RCS? Nope, it's all full on RCS, so we don't need RCS fuel this run. We are going to control from here. Oh, no, I want the pod. Control from here. Undock. Turn RCS on immediately. Back away. And you can see this is no longer a target. That Kerbal is. Is there a negative burn? No, it's not our negative burn. Flip it on around. Get this guy home. Son of a gun, that was our negative burn. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Alright. Lock it there. Go back to the map. Okay. And we're going to say goodbye to our friend here. Oh, forgot to get it back to staging. Okay, bye. And we'll land her off the coast. So we're speed up now. And we're back in the atmosphere, that means. So I'm actually going to, our RCS is still effective. Level out. Point it slightly up. And detach our capsule. Oh, careful, careful, careful. And this doesn't matter yet, but this is for atmospheric entry, so we have our heat shield facing where we need to. And I click make sure that our chute will deploy on time. Now we can just sit back, take one last glimpse of space, and watch it click down. Now there is a design flaw with this one if ever they do add in the heat on re-entry problem. And I'll just release the SAS to show you. This thing is weighted because of the chute. So it will not roll over to the natural aerodynamic side of the heat shield, the heaviest part, and will be off-center. Doesn't matter yet, so we're not going to worry about it. And he's just rolling around there because I took the SAS off. It's fine. He's freaking out a little bit. And we'll do speed up. Oh, careful. So our chute just deployed. We got to drop altitude before it will be effective. And you can see we're rapidly slowing down now. Lower, lower, lower. That will not deploy, I believe, until we get down to 800 meters. As in open up. Just too much air current, too much speed. And I'll go back to normal speed here to make sure we don't get some kind of physics glitch and it just pops right off, which can happen at higher speeds. Get crazy physics iterations. And good shoot. And I'll speed up again here to increase the rate of splashdown. This guy's pretty much home free at this point. Back to normal speed. Just gracefully falling. 5 meters per second. Beautiful sunset. And splash. One good thing about the weighted side, though, is it enables the capsule door to be on the right angle for when they need to retrieve him. Anyways, this has been Rek, and you've been watching my play of Kerbal Space Program and our fueling mission to Fueling Depot 2. Have a good day.